Yo guys, I just had a little epiphany while I was listening to a video about action and about why action is so valuable. So I was listening to this video. I've been getting into Elmer's content lately, Elmer O'Locker. So he has this video talking about present moment awareness, and he's talking about how important that is. And as we know as well, we've been talking from everything that we've been looking at, but especially recently talking about how being present lights you up like a firefly in your reality to other people. That's what Vadim Zeland talks about in Tufti the Priestess, right? The only true power that you have is the present moment. And we know from quantum physics that the present is all that exists. We can understand that theoretically, but in an actionable way, if we're thinking mentally of the future or of the past, we're creating, that is where we're getting into the overthinking, overanalyzing. That is where we are not even gonna be valuing and appreciating our life because we're caught up in some future anxiety or some past depressive thought, some regret or something that we're anxious about for the future, some fear of the future. And even if we're projecting it mentally as a positive or reminiscing about the past, we're not able to actually actively create anything. We're thinking of the end or of the past rather than what Neville talks about, thinking from the end, right? In order to think from the end, we have to bring the end here now. It has to be dwelling in our present moment awareness. We have to be present, like Eckhart Tolle talks about. The power of now. The power is in the now. And so here's what's interesting about this. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi talks about the flow state. When you're doing anything, when you are making decisions, when you're acting in the world, you don't have time to be in that overactive analytical mind. When you're out there playing a sport, when you're at the gym, when you're focused on something in the moment and that makes you present. It snaps you into presence by doing that thing, by engaging in that activity and being fully present and alert. And that's why a lot of the time we go for a run or we go hit the gym or we go do this activity, and we're like, oh, at first we're like, man, I don't feel like doing that. But afterwards and during it, we feel like great. We're like, yeah, that was amazing because it got us out of our head and into our body. It made us present. And so what's really cool about this is knowing that, we went over that stuff in Tufti, talking about taking action, triple action, propelling yourself, propelling your new future, and propelling the outer world around you to be what it is that you're wanting to bring into your reality. And when you are present, when you are taking action, you automatically become present. Having that, when you are present and then you're able to live of the end or feel from the end, now you're embodying that new character. That's a prerequisite to do what Neville talks about, to live from the state of the wish fulfilled, to be in that new state, to be in that new viewpoint, to be in that new character, whatever you want to call it, that new parallel version of yourself. That's a prerequisite, is being present. And when you're present, and by taking action, that's like a hack to become more present. Because if you're sitting around, that's when the mind has time to analyze, to overthink, to go and ruminate, do all this stuff that we don't want it to do, right? We've been talking about how to bring the mind back, how to tame the mind, how to cultivate the mind, create a beautiful garden instead of the mind running rampant and weeds growing, and the mind could be likened to a garden, or it could be likened to basically like an animal if left unchecked, if left untrained. And so, yeah, I hope that this makes sense. This was kind of just like an epiphany that I had, is another reason why taking action is so valuable, because it gets us into that present moment awareness. It gets us into our body. And then it snaps us into because we're in that present moment awareness, it's easier for us to step into the state of the wish fulfilled as well. Because now we're like thinking from it. I just had that video, I just dropped it about the gym. So it's like when I'm sitting there on the bench and I'm ready to do the rep, I'm doing something. And because I'm doing something, I'm focused on the present moment, I'm able to live that version of myself that is able to easily rep out a weight that I couldn't do previously. So we can do this with all different types of things. But yeah, decision, action, doing this. You start living life. The more that you start living life and moment to moment, just embodying that version of yourself, doing things, diving into life with that zest for life, that enthusiasm that we've been talking about, now it's going to be way, way, way easier for you to feel from the wish fulfilled too, because now you have evidence too. You're like, yeah, you know, I can do this. I'm doing this. I got this going on, and you don't have time. The mind, see, that's the beauty of this. The mind doesn't have time to ruminate, to think about all the past regret, to do all this, to do all that. You notice how a lot of people that are people in third world countries, the women that have to go and carry those jugs miles to bring the water back home to their family. Often, you know, their lives are way, way, way harder than we have it in a lot of first world countries, right? But they're often way less depressed than we are. And why is that? I think it's big part of that is because they're taking action, because they have to do something. They're occupied. They're constantly doing things, which makes it so that their mind doesn't have time to think about, oh, like, I have it so bad and I have it so rough. It's like, I'm not saying that they don't have those thoughts, but I am saying that by throwing yourself into life, by embracing this physical aspect of life that life has to offer, we're then more easily able to tap in, and motion creates emotion and momentum. The universe operates off of momentum and energy. So you're moving energy around by doing shit. Just get some shit fucking going. Make some shit fucking happen. I'm telling you, this is going to compile everything else that you're doing. All the mental work, all the metaphysical stuff that you're doing is going to just it's like you're throwing freaking gasoline on the fire by just doing shit, getting shit done, taking care of shit, getting shit fucking handled. Anyways, guys, I hope that this is, I hope that this makes sense. I'm in a weird mood right now. I'm kind of just like, I hit some PRs earlier, and like when I do legs, sometimes I get a little bit like, my brain, I just kind of get a little bit, anyways, like I hope that this makes sense. But with that being said, guys, much love as always. Drop this with a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.